It is a story of a life that should not have ended. And had I known what I know now, I would have ensured that the persistent heartburn was checked.
So I just feel like it's just incredibly sad all these years later we're still not at a better stage than where we are.
I met Mike when I was 19. Within 6 weeks of us meeting, we knew we were going to get married.
I remember meeting Dean on a night out in Camden Town back in the early 90s, and do you know what? He was like my first proper boyfriend, like proper boyfriend, and it was just love at first sight. So we were together for 28 years, and he was the love of my life, and he always will be.
We got married on the 8th of September 1979. It was sunny and hot. Very pretty wedding.
So we got married at Coombe Abbey, which was a 2-day affair, but we then went off for a 4-week honeymoon.
Very tall, handsome. He'd rest his chin on the top of my head. He was the best thing since sliced bread.
So he was just gorgeous, and I just loved his enthusiasm. He was just such a positive, wonderful person, and so much fun. He was just a bundle of fun. He had lots of friends, and you could just see he was just really loved and adored by all his friends, and also a really lovely family.
Mike, who'd always had heartburn. I was always buying Rennies.
There was always a box of Rennie being shoved in the supermarket basket, or Gaviscon. It was like standard fare.
He regularly had heartburn 3-4 times a week, if not more, and stuffed Rennies down his throat ad infinitum.
But if I think back to it, he always had heartburn, and actually he always had a bit of a cough.
He was eating a piece of toast on, it was the 10th of August 2002. It stuck and it gave him hiccups.
I remember we went on holiday the year he was diagnosed to Seville in the March, and all of a sudden he just couldn't eat bananas anymore, and by December he'd lost 1.5 stone in weight and was losing at a rapid pace.
And he was taken down to the endoscopy unit. I'd been told to be about 45 minutes before he'd come back. He was back within 20 minutes, 25 minutes, followed pretty immediately by the gastroenterologist, who looked at me and said, "It's cancer."
About a week later sent off for an MRI scan, and then they asked to see us, and we said no, we want to hear it. We want to hear now. We want to hear what it is, because we were both in the car together. They told us in the car that he had terminal cancer, that his cancer was spread everywhere. He had secondaries everywhere. It had metastasized into the stomach lining, he had a tumour on the lung. It was everywhere.
I took him home. The Friday night, I mean, you can imagine the torment. I mean, it hadn't crossed our mind. He was 47.
I was just totally and utterly stunned. I just couldn't believe it. Neither could he, and I didn't know what to do with ourselves, actually. We just went round to our friend Bex's house, who'd lost her husband, because we knew she knew, and just all got on the sofa with the dog.
And he died at 11:17 on Friday the 15th of November, exactly 9 weeks after he was diagnosed.
He had hope to the day he died, and when he died on the day he did die in Guildford Hospital, he was, sticking his V's up at the doctor who told him he was going to die that day, and he said, "Well, I feel absolutely fine, actually, thank you." That was his force of spirit, and to the day he died, to his last breath, was his force of spirit to live.
I mean, he's irreplaceable. And his loss, I will never get over. I've accepted his death. I accepted his death when he died. I have never come to terms with it. It should never have happened.
For sure, I've lost my best friend, my soulmate. I've lost the person I cared for the very most. I hope that anybody who's sat at home at night or doing, the supermarket shop and a packet of Rennie gets chucked in or some Gaviscon gets chucked in as a standard weekly shop item, that they start to really, they need to go and see a GP about why they're doing that and stop self-medicating.
We do very much have the ability for early diagnosis now. If we can only get that into the primary care pathway with the capsule sponge test, which is why what the Lanesborough are doing and Cleveland Clinic and Sighthead, I think will make a big difference, because that is my light at the end of the tunnel.